Okay, so squares and square roots. I think this is an idea that you have seen, you just maybe haven't connected it to this name. So two students found the area of parallelograms. Use their work to answer A and B. Which student found the area of a square? Brad or Collins? Which one found the area of a square?
Collins?
Okay, why do you think that Collins found the area of a square?
Because he multiplied the two same numbers, and squares have equal sides.
So you're saying based on that right there, being 8 and 8, the shape that he found the area for must have been a square, right? Okay, great. What other way could the formula for finding the area of a square be written? How else could I write that instead of BH? Is it?
Times width times height.
That would be volume.
Length times width.
Okay, length times width. Or we could write it as side square. Okay, so we could say it's the same number times itself. So we'll look at what power is in just a second. So squaring a number is the same as multiplying the number by
2. No,
itself.
So.
Itself. Or raising the number by the power of 2.
2.
Okay, power of 2. For example, 4 squared is equal to what?
16.
Yep, 16. Because 4 times 4 is 16. So if you see that 2, the little 2 at the top of a number, like this, that does not mean times 2. It means that number times itself. Okay? So what if I had something that was like 5 to the 3? That would be 5 times 5 times 5. Because that number in the top tells me how many times I multiply the bottom number. So the number here tells me how many times I multiply this one. Okay? So we also have to be careful with negative numbers. So what is a negative times a negative?
Positive.
Positive, right? So if I have negative 2 squared, that's still 4. But this one is negative 4. What's the difference between these two things?
The parentheses.
The parentheses. If there's no parentheses, it makes the problem do that. So you see, this is 2 squared, then times a negative. This is negative 2 times negative 2. So that's the difference. That's the difference. If there's no parentheses, then your value should be negative. So what about the next two values? What would those be?
6.
Not times 2, times,
Oh.
yep, times itself, 9 and negative 9. Good. So 9 here because negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, and negative 9 because 3 squared is 9 times the negative on the outside. Any questions about that? Is that okay? So make sure you're paying attention to the parentheses. It's important. So the square root of a number is the value that is multiplied by, what do you think? So let me reread that. The square root of a number is the value that multiplied by itself equals the number. Okay? So while the square root of 16 is both negative 4 and 4, because negative 4 times negative 4 is 16, and 4 times 4 is 16. Those are both true, right? Yeah? Okay. The positive is called the principal square root. The positive is called the principal square root. And this is one of those really nice things, this thing down here. Any number with a square root that is a whole number is called a perfect square. I forgot the R. Okay, so then, yeah, question?
I don't know if you spell square wrong.
I did?
No, I did.
Oh, okay. Whew. I did earlier, but that's okay. Okay, so now we have all of these in a list as a table. And so this will be super useful because in general, we're not really going to go above 15 squared. Garen, 1 squared is what? 1. Mason? 2 squared is?
4.
4. Brylan? 9. Hector? 4 squared?
16.
Yeah. Alexis?
25.
Is that right?
Yes.
No, is that your name? Okay, just making sure I'm saying it right. Landon?
36.
Okay. Zachary? Or Zach, which one do you go by? Do you go by Zach or Zach? 7 squared is? 49.
64.
82.
81.
100.
100. Allison, you know 11 squared? Okay, 121. Do you know 12 squared, Zuli?
144.
144. And then 13 is 1 what?
69.
169. And 14 is 196
225.
and 225. So those are squares, 1 through 15, and so this one is the opposite, square root of those same numbers. I'll have to zoom in a little bit because I can't. So 1, well, if 2 squared is 4, then this has to be 4 to get 2. So the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of what is 3? 9.
Oh, so just write the same thing.
It's the exact same thing, but opposite. These are actually reciprocal functions. Or inverse functions, I apologize. I almost wrote 81. Okay, 100, 121, 144, 165, 196, and 225. Oops, too far. So this is a really good reference chart, right? If you need to look at this, I would keep this handy in your notes so that way you can see these 15 numbers really quick. And after you use them enough, you'll start to remember, 15 squared is 225. The square root of 196 is 14. Some of the bigger ones. Most of you have all the smaller ones down, especially below 10. So let's practice some. With this negative 7 squared.
49.
Okay, Kobe says 49. Why is it not negative 49? Because it's inside parentheses. Good. Now, number 2. I don't know if you've seen anything like this before, but it means times itself, right? So 2/3.
It's going to be 4 over 6.
Close.
Which is 1 or 2.
4 over what?
9.
9. Okay. Good, good. Remember, we have to multiply straight across. So let me tell you one thing about exponents real quick. This can both of them. So it can look like this. 2 squared over 3 squared, which is 4 over 9. So either way you do this, if you do the product over here, or if you distribute the squares like I did here, either way is the same. Okay? Good or not good? Good. Okay. Somebody want to give me the answer that they think for number 3?
Negative 81.
Okay, negative, I don't want that. Yes, negative 81. Let's see. Number 4? Okay, 14. But what's in front of the 196? A negative, so we need to keep that negative. Number 5 is also slightly tricky, but what number is it closest to?
0.09.
0.09. So 81 would be 9, but there's a decimal there. So we have to keep the, I was about to put the square root again. We have to keep that placeholder. Okay? And number 6. This is probably a little more challenging just because it's a fraction again. Anybody want to make a guess? Perfect. 3 over 4. Why? Because just like before, I can rewrite this 9 over the square root. Sorry, the square root of 9 over the square root of 16, which 3, 4. Okay? So we're okay with this? It's pretty straightforward, right? Okay? So I want you to try number 7, 9, and 11. 7, 9, 11. And while you're doing 7, 9, 11, I will do 8, 8, 10, 12. And the square root of 121 is 11. The square root of 144 is 12. Minus the square root of 6 is 6. Okay, the square root of 81 is 9, but we have a negative. Plus 20 is 11. Oh, I did give y'all the 3 more challenging ones. I didn't do that on purpose. Sorry. Okay. Well, let's talk about number 7, and then I think you can do the other 2. Sorry, I should have looked at them. I should have given y'all 8, 10, 12. Okay. So a number next to a function like this means what? What does it mean to do with those 2 things?
Multiply.
It means to multiply. So what's the square root of 64?
8.
So we have the 2. And square root of 64 is 8. So what's 2?
16.
Yep, 16. So the same thing then with number 9. We'll leave the plus 10 on the end. 225 is the square root of 15. So we can put 15 and we keep the negative 3. So what do we do with these 2?
Multiply.
So what is negative 3 times 15?
Negative 45.
Negative 45 plus 10,
Negative 35.
which is negative 35. Great job. And lastly, number 11. What's the square root of 16?
4.
So we get 15 times 4. What's 15 times 4?
60.
I almost wrote 16. 60. Okay? So all the rules that we've learned up until this point are still holding true. Now, once again, you can do all of this in the calculator. There is an absolute value function. Let me try to remember where it is. Let's see, math, number, yes. Okay, so if you're interested in doing this on the calculator, I will write out the steps here. So the calculator version, okay. You have to hit math, and then right arrow, math, right arrow, enter, and then, yeah, it'll say ABS, so you hit enter, and then you put in your number. So then, number, whatever your number is, and then enter again. You can't do negatives and square roots. So, that's the formula, or the form. You would go to math, right arrow, you're gonna see ABS or ABS for absolute value, and then hit enter, type in your number, and then hit enter again. So can you guys try 13 and 14 real quick, and then we'll go to the next thing. I'll give you maybe a minute each.
Wait, what?
13, 14, yep.
Oh, not 15.
You could do 15 too. That one should be pretty quick, I think. Okay, what do you need?
No, on the calculator part, you said put in your number.
Yeah. So after you get to abs, yeah, and then you hit enter after that. Did it not work? Math, absolute value 225. Enter. Okay. So you'll have to also, I forgot, you'll have to, at the end of that, close your parentheses. Close parentheses.
Math, right, enter, and then parentheses.
Parentheses. And then enter. Huh? Your calculator is doing some weird stuff.
Is yours?
Hmm?
Is your calculator?
No.
He didn't do it on the calculator.
Oh.
Well, these. Okay. Don't do it that way. Hit second and then the x squared button. The second and then x squared. You see this symbol is in orange on the left side of the calculator. So if you hit second and the button that matches that, I'm not sure why the other absolute value piece isn't working. Oh, that's why.
Stop copying this.
Because we're not trying to do absolute value. We're trying to do square root. Anyway, okay. So a group of 225 students needs to be arranged in a square formation for a halftime performance show. How many people should be in each row?
15.
15. Because 15 squared equals 225. Okay. Ivan's room is a square with 144 square feet. What is the perimeter?
48.
Okay, so if it's 144 square feet, we have to take the square root of that, and that gives you 12. So you know each side is 12. And perimeter says add them all up. So 4 12s is 48 feet for the perimeter. Okay. And number 15 says, where's his mistake? And has anyone looked at it yet? Okay, so
50
what?
is not the square root.
Correct. The square root of 100 is
10.
10, because 10 times 10 is 100. So his error or her error is in this section right here. They said square root of 100 is 50. Okay?